Rescued from near death, Dr. Bernie Dahl lives to share lessons from living from a Mount Washington misadventure.
October 23rd, 1999, Mount Washington, New Hampshire. It was truly a dark and stormy night. For me, perhaps the darkest and stormiest night of my entire life, because I came within 5 minutes of death, my death, because my rescuers were about to give up. Now, as a medical student and a regular physician and specializing in pathology for well over 25 years, I had developed a very close professional relationship with dying and with death, but I certainly hadn't developed a personal relationship with dying, or certainly not with my death. Now, during that afternoon, evening, and night, as I lay waiting for rescue in that whiteout conditions, with winds officially recorded at up to 98 miles an hour, and then waiting for my death, I had a long time to think about living and enough time to think about dying. Now, it is said since ancient times that to learn how to live, you must first learn how to die. Now, needless to say, I'm pleased to be here today. In fact, the way I've been living lately, I'm pleased to be anywhere. I'm alive, I'm well, I've got some lingering frost injuries on my feet, but they seem to modify fairly well, because soon after I got out of the hospital, I called my friend, who is also a member of the Wilderness Medical Society, Dr. Mary Hamlet, who's an expert down in Massachusetts on frost injuries and frostbite for the United States Army. He told me that whatever recovery I would get, it would take about 4 to 6 months. And that was exactly what happened. So I just have a little lingering problems that remind me every day of what I did on Mount Washington. Now, to put this in a little perspective, I have to tell you, I have to be honest with you, that my personal physician, Dr. Mary Hamlet, is a veterinarian.
Although the keynote presentation of my Mount Washington Misadventure has been adapted to a wide range of audiences and venues, in each keynote presentation, I try to present certain basic elements. Included are the setting, the weather, that is the rain, then the goal and the plan for the day, as well as the new plan when the rain turned to snow. I address the decision to go on and hike in the snow and the crisis that develops, the need to hunker down, the need to take out my bivy sack, climb in it, looking for safety, the need to use my cell phone to call for rescue, which I felt would be within an hour or so, as my rescuers might just drive up the auto road. But during that subsequent 8 hours, while I waited for rescue, I had time to think about my past life and my potential future. In the presentation, we share my regrets and my embarrassments, as well as my hopes for the future. We address some of the work of Dr. Kubler-Ross on death and dying, on how that impacted me on that mountain. We also address some of the issues of so-called near-death experiences. And to add a certain amount of humor to this session on death, we have a joke or two that I used to keep myself in a good mood, in a good humor, as I struggled to maintain hope. In closing the Mountaintop Experience segment, I address the marvelous rescuers, the stalwarts that risked their lives to save me. The take-home message, the lessons that are offered, are simple and they're focused. I offer 3 admonitions. Number 1, be prepared to die. Number 2, have a plan to live. And number 3, do it now. Now, in the section on the planned life, on living an orderly and examined life, as Socrates recommended, together we cover some very basic and interesting subjects. Some classic strategic planning, touch of risk management. The role of values and how we attain values in everything that we do, everything that we think, and everything that we say. Then we focus deeper on certain values, the values that are the power of love and the power of forgiveness. Then we take a few moments and go even deeper into the power of self-forgiveness.
By giving you 2 or 3 pieces of information, admonitions, that you might want to take apart, put together, use them in your life. Some advice from near the grave. Number 1 is be prepared to die. It's sort of the ultimate Boy Scouts motto plus. Have your personal and family life in order. Have your financial plans up to date. Have succession plans for your company, your family, your business, your profession, or whatever. And have your spiritual life tuned up. Doesn't hurt. So number 1, be prepared to die. Number 2, be prepared to live. An orderly life. Socrates said an unexamined life is not worth living. The president of General Electric, Jack Welch, puts it a different way: take charge of your life or someone else will. Step back a moment and ask, who am I? What do I value? And try to create for yourself a value statement. And then revisit those opportunities, those challenges, those obligations that relate to your values. Then make your plans. Now remember, everything you do, every decision you make, every word you utter is driven by your values. So perhaps now is the time to take the energy to understand yourself, to give yourself permission, to love yourself, to forgive yourself, and to take that exciting, mysterious, and sometimes dangerous journey into the self. So number 1, be prepared to die. Number 2, be prepared to live. And number 3, very briefly, implement your strategic plan, or as Nike says, just do it. And I say, do it now. Now, it took a life-threatening experience to get my attention, to cause me to formally look at my life, to revisit my plans. What will it take to get your attention? What mountain will you have to climb in order to address the admonitions? Be prepared to die. Be prepared to live a planned life. Do it now.
I close the presentation with a brief poem from Apollinaire, a poem that addresses opportunities, challenges, and risks.
Come to the edge of the cliff, he said. No, we are afraid. Come to the edge of the cliff, he said. No, we're afraid. Come to the edge of the cliff. They came. He pushed them. They flew. You are all eagles. Keep flying. If you're really courageous, come fly with me. Thank you.
I look forward to an opportunity to share this story and these lessons with you and those around you. For to learn how to live, one must first have to learn how to die. Contact your Speakers Bureau for information regarding scheduling and fees.